Hi, this is Steven from Steven's Archery Journey, and today I have a special ring review for you. I will be reviewing the Ma-T thumb rings by Nomadic Arts Archery, Zack Djurica. These are very beautiful and functional shallow hook thumb rings from the Ming Dynasty in China. These rings most closely resemble a yuan bao in terms of the general shape and the characteristics, the biggest difference being that these rings are thinned out in the center to allow your thumb knuckle room to, breathe and expand a little bit. Regarding whether these rings are a circular hole ring or an ovular hole ring, at a glance, you might think they're circular, but in fact they are ever slightly ovular. So this larger one came out at 22.6 by 21.6. Whereas my typical ovular ring would be 23 by 20. This smaller one for my left-hand thumb came out to 22 by approximately 20.6. So again, not fully ovular, not fully circular, slightly unique. When I was working with Zack to size these rings, I almost had him make them a little bit larger, but I'm glad I didn't, because per his advice, being the expert, making them a little bit tighter resulted in an almost laser precision fit on my fingers. And because of the way that they sit a little bit further down on the thumb joint once you get them on, I'm glad I leaned a little bit toward my tighter width when I sized the rings. I also had him make the front lips just a little bit longer, because when I shoot at Warbow weights, sometimes that area really pinches my thumb, and that was a good change because I think any shorter and it probably would have done so. My favorite thing about these rings is they're just a very stable platform. You can see how flat the string bearing side is. It's extremely flat. There's no curvature at all on that side. And the lip is approximately 4.5 to 5 millimeters in the front, which gives more than enough room for even a little bit thicker of a string, and still allows for a decent crisp release. So I'm definitely a fan of how stable these rings are as a platform. Next, let me actually show you what the rings look like on my thumbs. So here is the ring for the right-hand thumb. This is my main shooting thumb. As you can see, the fit is extremely precise. There's really almost no gap at all. Again, this is not totally a credit to Zack or a detriment to me. I'm just getting better at sizing rings, and with his advice, was able to size the ring very appropriately. But if you give him good input, he will make a really good ring for you. So you can see it's very tight and very secure. I can use it all the way up to triple digits with no issues. And this one, being Antler, will withstand extra abuse that the horn version will not. It's just a little bit better for high poundage. Here is the horn version on my left-hand thumb. So, same story, very precise fit. Really not even enough room for a kulak if I wanted to use one. And no problems whatsoever at really any weight. The thumb sits nicely in the groove that the ring makes as it expands outward. And the fact that it tapers down on the sides gives you a lot of comfort that maybe some thicker, bulkier rings would put pressure on your thumb joint. So definitely a fan of the shape of these. and the general stability they provide. Next, I'll demonstrate the actual usage of the ring pulling the bow. This is a Shangshao style bow. It's actually one of my favorite glass laminated bows from Spearman, a bowyer in China. So you're going to slip the ring on the string right under the arrow. You're going to keep your thumb relatively straight and lock it. And then from there, you've got a nice stable platform to pull and release. Next, let's take some actual shots. This is a 55-pound at my 32-inch draw length. So this is more of a target weight bow for me. Not my heaviest bow by any stretch, but a weight that I really enjoy shooting at for general target shooting. And just a nice crisp release. Really no issues at all in feeling, like the string is slipping from the ring or anything. Some shallow hook rings are almost too shallow. I know that sounds weird, but you almost give up too much stability to get the shallow release. These are definitely not in that camp. They provide a very stable foundation while also providing a nice crisp release. If you're used to a really small ring, like an ottoman ring, these might even extend your draw length just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but maybe a half inch or so. But if you're right on the fence of being one draw length versus another, these might extend you just a hair. Next, I'm going to take a couple of shots with my 100-pound Manchu bow. This draws to 35 inches, which is at the long end of my personal draw length. Sometimes I can get there with a little bit of struggle. I'm usually more in the 34-inch spectrum, but we'll see how far we can get it. So even at this weight, no major issues. You do have to adjust the ring a little bit at high poundage just to even the pressure. But nice crisp release even at triple digits. Next, we'll take a few left-handed shots. This is admittedly my offhand and the one that I tend to suffer with the most. But even with the offhand, I really like the way this ring works. Sends the arrow nice and crisp without too much ring drag. Reminds me of a Manchu ring in that regard, even though this ring is not quite fully cylindrical. You just get a lot of the same properties that you would get with the Manchu ring, or a yuan bao that's more round instead of oval. Would I recommend this ring to a complete beginner? Probably not, just because I feel like you're getting something really premium and you don't want to waste that on not knowing what your preferences are and not understanding your ring sizing yet. So maybe not as your very first premium ring or your very first shallow ring, but cut your teeth on some cheaper, more basic options. That way, when you do come back to Zack, you can appreciate it fully. To conclude, this has been the Ma T horseshoe thumb ring, crafted by Zack Djurica of Nomadic Arts Archery, with research assisted by Hayden Fu. I'll link some additional information from Zack. Would I get this as my very first ring? Again, I don't think so, unless you're really confident. Maybe tinker with some other shallow rings first. But if you already know you like shallow rings, or you're really locked in on your ring size and you want to try a really good shallow ring, this is a great choice. Zack's a great craftsman that's been making rings and quivers for years, so you're in very good hands. They have a beautiful shape, a great shallow release, and they provide a very stable platform as long as you get the sizing right. So would I recommend these? Absolutely. Check them out. I'll have the links in the description. Happy shooting, and we'll see you next time.